Hey guys, hello once again. I thought I was gonna be done with these, but I guess my dreams keep coming. So I had this one last night and it kind of spooked me, but anyway, so this was a dream. I remember that I was like in a big city. I remember it was like in a big building. It was like a protected building, something like governmental. And I remember there was um, like senators and congressmen and just politicians, and then there was an audience and they were listening to the speaker, and there was a speaker at a podium and they were going to speak. But then I saw where like upstairs there was some security, I guess like Secret Service or whatever. There was security working the detail, right, to protect, to keep this area safe, right? And then they started there was some kind of emergency. They started pressing buttons and they went ahead and some scenario was going down, so they went ahead and executed some kind of like security measures, and the seats of everybody went ahead and sank down pretty much. They went and sank down and put everybody like in a secure room, and then of course everybody panicked and started screaming. I remember here like women screaming, and then people like and like people crying and stuff like, oh, what's going on, what's going on. And then the people speaking like, they're like, ah, what's going on, what's up, what's up. And then the security people are like, hey, something, we're under attack. And then when they went ahead and started looking through the windows to see what was going on, it looked like there was like missiles coming in and started hitting buildings, and then buildings started, of course they're blowing up and stuff. But it was like it was like a city. I don't know. It kind of looked like New York, but I don't know if it was New York. It was just a big city. Maybe, I don't know, DC or something. But I started seeing missiles coming in and hitting buildings, and then of course, just a bunch of stuff and smoke and fire and stuff. And then everybody was like screaming, and people were crying like, "Oh my gosh!" And I remember like thinking like, "Oh no! Like what now? What now? Great! Oh great! Look, there's a war happening. What now? Where they're bombing the city. What now?" Like we're freaking out, and and I was like the senator. I mean, there's like a couple senators and like congressmen. They're all like freaking out, and but anyways, that was his dream. That quick. But yeah, it was kind of creepy. But anyway, of course, you can say it was a movie, or say, how brains are, right? You really don't know why you have these dreams. But I always go back to like the Bible and say, well, that Revelation, the book of Revelation does talk about wars and a lot of destruction and tribulation and stuff. And we know that a war with Iran is mentioned, like a prophetic, like a prophecy in the Old Testament, and then also in and then the book of Daniel, and also in Ezekiel, talking about this war with Iran, or the Persians, right? Persians, which is Iran, in that area, right? So it's pretty crazy that we are starting to see again war with the Persians, or war with Iran, and it's in the book of Daniel, where it's the Greeks versus the Persians again. And you know how sometimes God makes history repeat itself. And in the book of Daniel, it starts talking about the Persians going to war with the Greeks, right? And then it's still like wars, and all of a sudden now the Antichrist is in power, which, I mean, Daniel and with the things that happened back then with the Greeks and the Persians, that's like BC time frame. And then all of a sudden, in his book, he's talking about, and then the Antichrist came in power. So it could be where it gets repeated, and then coincidentally enough, us from the Greek descendants, like the Greek philosophy and the Greek government and all stuff, again war with the Persians. And this is again a prophecy in Ezekiel also, and then in the book of Revelation talks about wars and stuff. So what I'm trying to say is be ready. Be ready, because we're starting to see all this stuff on the news getting a little bit scarier, more war continuing. And so always be ready for, if Jesus comes tonight, that you're ready. So remember, surrender, ask for forgiveness, always be honest, sincere with the Lord, and ask for forgiveness. And please ask him to not let you fall into temptation, and deliver you from evil. In Jesus' name. That's it, guys. Till next time. Bye. Thank you.